And what was wild about that speech I did, it was a small speech. It was because I used to go to school at Art and Design, 57th and 2nd Avenue. And I used to have to walk past Tiffany's every day. That was like by 5th Avenue.
Yeah.
And to get to the train station. So I'll look in the window, but I would not ever dare walk in the store. Like, why would I walk in the store?
Right, when we
I was
belong
thinking,
everywhere. But, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly.
You live and you learn.
But what I spoke about was breaking those conditions and those chains that's in our mindset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have that mindset. You got to know that you belong everywhere. And if you know that you belong everywhere, you're not going to have that inferior feeling of someone looking at you weird or this, that, and the third. I feel like I belong everywhere, so people embrace me with that energy. But if you got that in your mind, like I don't belong everywhere, you're going to be very timid about how you step.
What is up, world? You are tuned into Select Conversations presented by UnitedMasters, sponsored by Ally, hosted by me, Rachie Jackson. And to the left of me, I have a fashion killer, a Billboard chart thriller, just a king of New York.
Oh, man, I appreciate it.
Ferg. What's
hey,
up?
That was a dope little intro right there.
Was it? I mean, it is what it is, my guy.
I appreciate that.
I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy
to be here. Your energy is super dope. Look at that. Oh.
Did you catch it? Thanks so much. So you're from Harlem.
Yes.
Your culture is deeply rooted in Trinidad. And that tells me one thing for a fact. That you can tell me where I need to eat in Harlem, because as a New Yorker, I really don't know much. So let me know where I need to go eat first and foremost.
Well, first and foremost, you got to go to my grandfather's house.
Okay.
Because he's the Trinidadian god when it comes to the food, the curry goat, the bussum shot, all of that. He makes his pepper sauce from scratch.
Set it up. Put us
in the group chat. But then other than that, if I'm going to hang out, and I don't need everybody in my mom's house, in my grandpa's house, then we go to Miss Melba's.
Okay.
Melba's like my aunt. Shout out to Melba. We go eat there. We get some good home-cooked food.
Okay.
You have a happy lemonade.
Okay.
You'll be happy for the rest of the day.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So those are your favorites. Like
that's my
everybody
favorites. But then it's also like, you know, it's a few juice bars and stuff like that I go to, like on 117th. I go to my man spot, and you know, I get some smoothies and wraps and things like that.
Yeah, I like to eat light too. Like I love my good share of like heavy food or like Caribbean food, but I like to eat light too.
Shout out to Ross.
When I first moved here, I'm from Atlanta.
Okay.
And when I first moved, it was like height of pandemic. Everything was closed. I really didn't get my life on the food in Brooklyn where I live and stuff like that. And I'm sure the pandemic for you being a king of Harlem and king of New York as you are, I know that was kind of hard and different for you. So what was the pandemic like when it first hit?
Yo, the pandemic was crazy because it's just like you just don't know what the next day is gonna hold. Like everybody's scared. Nobody knew, like, you know, if this germ was just gonna like zap people like soon as you get it, or if you had to wear gloves and then come into the house and take all your clothes off and then come back and then you forgot, oh, I didn't wear my gloves, so I gotta wash my hands. Oh, I forgot I dropped it on the floor. I gotta go back. Like, you know, it got to the point where it's just like, I let go and I let God. And I was just like, man, I'm going to do the best I can to wear my mask, protect myself. And what I did a lot of self-reflecting where I dove deeper into myself because, you know, us as artists, we constantly on the move. On tour, I was flying more than I was in cars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm flying all week. Like, I'm jet lagged. I'm going to Paris. I'm going there for 2 days, going to Australia, coming back, London, then do a whole Asian run. This is all the stuff I was doing before, you know, the pandemic hit. I think literally God had me sit down so I can reiterate and rethink and just edit what I needed to do for my life and my lifestyle, which was the best thing that could possibly happen because then I picked back up drawing again, like meditating again, you know what I'm saying? Designing, like my belt line. I was like, yo, this is a mission that I've been on forever. Like I was making belts before I was doing music. I had like Swiss Beats buying my belts. I had Chris Brown buying my belts. I would link up with all the stylists and like get some of the budget money and provide belts. But I always said like, yo, I wanted to continue that and take it to the next level, but I just kept using making music as an excuse not to show that different dimension of my brand. So I was like, man, life is not promised tomorrow, so I got to move with a little bit more urgency. And that's how I moving forward.
Oh, that's cool. And then moving forward, how would you say that has changed you as an artist and like a multi-hyphenated genius, like I was telling you before?
It just makes me more like, I go hard every day like it's my last. You know what I'm saying? I did 3 shows last night. Like literally, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see like I had the Fordham University, then I came and I had a V-Fowles party, and then I had a Burton snowboarding event party. All like I never did nothing like that before, and I had the energy for all of it.
Right,
and then you could see the people was giving me the energy back, like they missed it. I was like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it felt good to be outside though.
Yeah, hell
and I'm sure that everybody was hella happy to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I was happy to see them because it was a long time. I mean, a year and a half in the house, no shows. Me and Meek and my boy PJ Kell, we was doing Zoom calls, trying to figure out what we was going to do as rappers to make money. This is before we was having shows or getting away with shows. I mean, Atlanta was a little bit different though. Like
Atlanta only shut down for arguably 3 months. And then after that, like the promoters were still getting their money. People were still doing walkthroughs and shows. It was a place that people would kind of one off on the low to kind of come because there was a dissonance between health and the good of the people and really what money people wanted to get.
Very different for New York.
Oh yeah.
Very different.
Almost shut it down.
Yeah. I had went to Miami when it first shut down, and I had went to go work with Salon Remy. He's like masked up, gloves.
Oh yeah.
Like we like got the separation. I'm outside writing my music. But I'm cool. Like it's Miami, palm trees and all of that. But nobody was allowed to go on the beach. So it didn't feel like Miami. So I'm like, I was early in it. Then Mustard had called me. He FaceTimed me. He's got mad slim. I was like, oh. I'm like, he was like, nah, I just been working out. Da 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 da. You know Kevin Hart, trainer, boss. I'm like, oh yeah, homie. Da da da. He was like, oh yeah, he be training me. I'm like, all right, I'm coming to LA. So I went to LA, wound up staying there for 7 months. So I got a house in LA.
A big vibe.
I caught a big vibe. I had a birthday party out there. Me and Jalen Brown. It was crazy.
Oh, that's
cool. So we, with LA, it was more space. It was like I was able to have like, everything is a little bit far apart in LA. You got the swimming pool, you got the vibes, you got the, you know what I'm saying?
You got the hills, you got there's so much scenery.
Exactly. So it was just like very chill. LA is slower than New York. Everybody got the urgency in New York. Everything is kind of close together.
Everybody's taking their time. Everybody's high mostly, but they taking their time.
That's one thing about LA. I get a lot of work done in LA because of how I am. Like my urgency and like from New York, I go out there and I'm in like everybody's studio session. Like I tell you, like I was in a studio with Marilyn Manson on one end. Marilyn Manson and Duke Deuce. I just finished doing 2 songs with Duke Deuce.
Yes, I love Duke. That's
then Marilyn Manson walks in the room and Duke Deuce and Marilyn Manson is in the room. That's crazy.
What?
So, cause I had a session with Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
And then did a song with Marilyn Manson. I went across just to say what's up to Hit Boy.
Yeah.
Wound up doing a Nas feature. So I got like 5 songs done that night.
That's wild.
And all of them joints, Nas won a Grammy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Duke Deuce is on the rise. Marilyn Manson, I killed it with that. So, I get a lot of work done in LA.
No, I love to hear that. I love to hear that. And then just being an innate artist, editing. Being an innate artist, like you put the capital A-R-T in artist. Like to me, you're an artiste. And
Artiste.
I know that the pandemic.
Like Matisse and Picasso and Basquiat.
Yes. And the pandemic brought out like your other hobbies. Like you just said that you went back to drawing and you went back to meditating. And I'm sure the importance of having multiple streams of income driven by your creativity were very, very important. So outside of designing, like what other things were you working on? And
that's what I was going to get at. Like when me and Meek was having that conversation, I was just thinking, man, I could become a full designer and like just take over on some like.
You're really good though.
Yeah, I'll design some astronaut suits or something like that. Go study textiles with NASA and SpaceX or something, and like do something totally different.
That's so outside the box, though.
Because like for me, it's not outside the box because it's always been a dream of mine, and I've always been working with different textiles because I went to art and design high school, where I majored in fashion and fine arts. So this is right in my neck of the woods. Like, you know, I'll go to Mood or M&J Trimming and look at a bunch of textiles and pick out like different. A lot of my outfits that I wear on stage, I designed. Like I designed this logo, this hoodie. Like so,
that's crazy.
Beyond just like that, cut and sew. I you know, that's what I do. That's what my dad did. You know, he had Ferg apparel in a store in Harlem and did the Bad Boy logo and did graphic arts and stuff like that. So,
it's definitely in you.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
way more than on you at this point. And you be putting that shit on.
It's in my
by
DNA.
The way.
Come on.
I
throws that shit on.
Your...
Harlem, New York, Mecca, you heard?
Yes. Yes, indeed. So, we're both 30. Can you answer why we felt like being 30 and up was just old when we were 20s?
That was
when we were
crazy.
20s, why did we feel like 30 was so damn old?
I just was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. Like when I was like probably 19, I was looking at 30 like, oh, you old.
Yeah, like you.
And now that we get to the 30s, you're like, oh hell no,
now,
we running away from that old. Like, nah, you tripping.
Exactly.
Yo,
exactly.
It's wild. I mean, when I first turned 30, I had so much weight on me because I expected so much of myself. Like I had so much expectations as like where I wanted to be. Some of my peers, Instagram, and all of that shit just turned into anxiety and pressures that, you know, otherwise if you wasn't on the internet all day, you wouldn't have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I had to like draw myself away from that and really dive into myself and understand that I'm only competing against myself.
Right.
I mean, like my journey and my walk is different from somebody else.
Yeah.
And just because you got what you got, I don't know what you did to get there, and I don't know what you went through to get that. So, like I said, the way I get there, I'll get there, and it's no rush. Like what I'm learning that, you know, like I said, go back to meditation. Being present is the present.
Oh yeah.
That's the gift. Like we think that is like reaching this certain level of something and like it's endless. Like you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
For sure.
Once because you're never gonna be satisfied.
Ever.
So you have to be satisfied being in the moment. Like, and I learned that like through working out. I got a trainer, like I go work out every day. And like he be busting my ass, pause, with the working out. And then I'm like, yo, I feel good after that. Like I feel like a natural high.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you want to see like your six pack coming, you want to see this, you want to see that, and that's gonna come. But what it does is it tells you how to live in a moment and respect time. Everything takes time. Like Jay Brown told me, like, you know, for certain artists, I don't want to disclose, you know, whatever. But certain deals take 7 years. We've been in this discussion for 7 years for a deal.
Yeah.
Which is insane, but it's worth it all after that.
Very respectable, very respectable. And when I think about my 20s and I look back and reflect and meditate on it, I always ask myself, okay, what would I tell like 20-year-old Rachel? Like I would tell her to calm down. I would tell her to sit down. And when I put myself in her shoes and try to grab the moment and be happy and be excited about what I have going on and what success is in my life, I'm just like, dang, like I'm here. You know, and being present is the gift, like you said.
Yeah, being present is the present.
I think that in your 20s, just in general, you do a lot of showing and proving. It's like, I got my chest out. This is me. This is who I am. Believe me, believe me, believe me. But once you cross that 30-year-old threshold, it's I said what I said, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're more comfortable with it. And I feel like, if anything, that's the promised land, and we ain't even know it.
That's peace. Yeah, you got to be at peace with yourself.
Yeah, that's the biggest.
That's what I think. Like when people like go around treating people bad.
Oh, hate it.
You could be like rich, going like crazy bread, and treat people like garbage. That just shows that you're not cool with yourself, or like you just never been cool, period. Like I always been cool, like always. And I hate the word cool because whatever, but I always been me.
Yeah.
So like even in junior high school, I had, if you look at my yearbook, it was most likely to be a millionaire, best dancer, best dresser, all of this shit.
Because you knew you was just saying, on it. You stood on it early.
I always been that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm the same guy. Like I literally like this. I walk through my hood. I walk through anybody's hood. Whatever. I don't be like hanging around nobody's hood. But if I go, say what's up to somebody I see, it's love and respect. A lot of artists can't do that because they can't face people or things from the past because they're not themselves right now.
Exactly.
They got the money and they start acting like somebody else. I got the money and I just act more like myself, and I try not to lose that.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of artists, especially developing artists, they don't understand that influence is rooted in knowing who you are.
Right.
And if you're not confirmed in that, whether you got $1 million in the bank or not, if you're not walking like it, talking like it, acting like it, having conversation and treating people like it, then it's not you. Yeah. And another thing that I really admire about you is that you know how to take influence because you know who you are and turn that into opportunity. Yeah. So if there was any type of advice or any directives that you could give to, teenagers or, the almost 20-somethings or the 20-somethings that are trying to figure it out, and they have confidence, what would you say to them?
I would just say, for me, that came from a strong base. Like my mom, very strong parent, single mom, household, held it down for years, put me through school, this, that, and the third.
Moms, they put it in you.
But my dad also was in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll come in and handle the way you got to handle, pay for Catholic school. I had the uniform, all of that, pay less shoes for about a whole year. But during the gym classes, I'll get my sneakers off. You know what I'm saying? So we was working it out. And, I would just say that just for you striving as an artist, stay intact with your nuance. Everybody is a different flower. When you think about like opening up an orange, like that's a unique orange. That's like a specific one-of-one orange. When you think about like a snowflake, each snowflake has its own DNA and design in it. Like so, it's like each
Get
thing.
to the biology of it.
But we all have that.
Yeah, we do.
Us as humans in the universe, we all are different. Some of us embrace our difference more than others. I think that like the world would be more colorful, flavorful if everybody embraced exactly who they are instead of trying to do what they think work. You know what I'm saying? Like I call that microwave.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not in this music business and I ain't make it to where I am by being a microwave artist. I'm not getting on anybody about like how they make their money or whatever the case may be. Like at the end of the day, it's an industry and people want to make cakes for songs. We got to sell these Debbies, you know what I'm saying? We got to get these off. But that's not what I'm here to do.
Right.
I'm here to be disruptive. I'm here to fuck shit up.
You're
I'm
here
here
to,
you know what I'm saying? Change the sound of music and create a genre, if you may, or just create a culture. You know what I'm saying?
You're definitely doing that.
Appreciate it.
So take me back to your first brand deal that was not outside of the box for you, but to the public eye when they just see, okay, I see Ferg the rapper. I see Ferg the, co-producer. What was that like? What brand was it? What type of deal was it? How did you feel? Just put me there. Memory lane.
I say the first brand deal I did was Bape. It was always a dream of mine to work and collaborate with Bape. So we did a partnership together where I actually got one of my best friends, Jay West, to design me as like the hood pope on the front of the shirt with like the baby Milo.
Love that.
Yep, exactly. Because they usually do the Bape icons, like the characters.
Yeah, like the baby Milo character.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, let me switch it up for mine. I got to be disruptive. So I got my boy to do it. He actually did my album cover too because I told him like, when I get on, I'm going to have you do my album cover.
Lift as you climb.
Exactly.
Important.
And I couldn't afford Bape at the time, so I was just like, man, they going to give me a bunch of clothes.
Yeah.
So they gave me like a bunch of stuff, and it was super cool because I did the listening party at the Bape store, the flagship store in New York City. Rihanna came through. I had the whole mob there. Like, everything was dope.
That's hard. That's hard.
So that was the first one, but the out the box, that really was out the box.
Did it kind of shock you?
It shocked me.
Okay, perfect. That one.
I did a Revlon deal. It was a Revlon deal.
Elaborate.
And I didn't have to wear no makeup, none of that. And I don't even understand how this happened, really. I guess I'm that pretty, but
I guess so.
Exactly. So I got hired to do like a performance and a commercial. I did a performance at the Apollo, and there was a bunch of beautiful women in the house that night.
Okay.
So I was like, hey, listen, I put the silk shirt on, I put the slacks on.
What color was it?
I did the brown. the mocha latte.
So did you do a monochromatic brown look?
Not a monochromatic, but I did a light little cream on the leg.
Okay.
And then on the body, I did a brown mocha choker.
Latte,
Yeah.
Got it. It was a step. That sounded like a step.
Big step.
Good.
Yeah. So did that. Girls went crazy, dumb, stupid, out of this world, out of the building.
Got it.
And then we did a commercial. So shout out to Ruba, which is actually my OG. She's the creative director for Tiffany's now. So she set that up.
And I saw that performance that you did at Tiffany's, and my favorite part about it was the little short story that you gave about walking by it every day on your way to school. I am.
Wow.
And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Because, I grew up in Atlanta. Lenox Mall was somewhere we used to hang out, and I used to do the same thing.
I love Lenox Mall.
That's why that stuck out, because I'll walk by that big vault, and I'll be like, dang, one day I'll be able to afford that.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I was like, wow. And you prompted the whole entire audience to make some noise if at one point in their life that they couldn't afford something in Tiffany.
Right. But
and I love real moments like that.
I'm going to tell you what's crazy and what's freaky about that situation is that, like I said, I was doing belts back in the days before I was rapping. And I did an art show with my friend. So I did like this installation with all of these belts. And then this collector came and he brought some of my belts. So we wound up building a bond. He gifted me 2 Tiffany belt buckles, 2 nickel belt buckles.
For you to repurpose and build a belt from.
Well, yeah, just to mess with. He knew I was into belts, so he gave me the belt buckles. Okay. So one of them was a Coca-Cola one with a nun that, like, when you pull a card out, it's like the breast out.
That's
if
wild.
any of y'all know what that means or whatever, I have the belt buckle. That joint might be worth like $1 million or something.
I was about to say, do you still have it?
Like, it's a Coca-Cola card, like gold, and you pull a card out, and it's a nun holding her breast.
It's disruptive.
Like, that was super crazy.
and out of the box.
Yeah, and then there was a nickel belt buckle that Tiffany did with Ford. So I wound up going on Twitter saying, preparing my belts for this show. And my collab with Tiffany's. It was like Devoni X Tiffany's. That's how I worded it.
Yeah.
And then when I finally became the face of Tiffany's of New York City, the first rapper, the first black person, my mother sent me that text in the morning. And I forgot completely that I had them belt buckles and did all that stuff.
Like she was holding
No, she got the tweet. Not the tweet, the MySpace. Sorry.
Oh, got it.
This is before Twitter.
Got it. Okay.
She got the MySpace line, the quote that I said, Devoni X Tiffany, preparing these belts for this art show, and she sent it to me. And I read that shit, and I was like,
it took you
she was like, look, full circle moment. She said, you manifested it.
You did.
And I was like, wow, now I'm performing on top of the clock in the flagship Tiffany store. And what was wild about that, that speech I did, it was a small speech. It was because I used to go to school at Art and Design, 57th and 2nd Avenue. And I used to have to walk past Tiffany's every day. That was like by 5th Avenue.
Yeah.
And to get to the train station. So I'll look in the window, but I would not ever dare walk in the store. Like, why would I walk in the store?
Right, when we belong everywhere. But,
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, exactly.
You live and you learn.
But what I spoke about was breaking those conditions and those chains that's in our mindset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have that mindset. You got to know that you belong everywhere. And if you know that you belong everywhere, you're not going to have that inferior feeling of someone looking at you weird or this, that, and the third. I feel like I belong everywhere, so people embrace me with that energy. But if you got that in your mind, like, I don't belong everywhere, you're going to be very timid about how you step. And I was stepping. Like, I was up there on top of that clock, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, for all my brown boys, all the black guys coming out of Harlem, New York, wherever you from, this is possible, and that's what I did it for.
You did, and you did it exquisitely, by the way. So
Appreciate
I'm proud of that moment, because I was proud of you. Didn't even know you at the time. I was proud of you because I'm like, I relate. And my mom, speaking of, that negative or that false feeling of inferiority for no reason, she used to ingrain in me that no one can make you feel inferior unless you let them. That's a choice. And once I really decided to lean into that and put that on, the same way I put on whatever I was going out with on the day, it was like, okay, I can't be stopped. I belong here, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And speaking on manifestation, I have a similar story. I used to hate, I'm from Atlanta, you know that. I won't say hate because that's a very strong word that I'm trying to rid from my vocabulary, but I disliked traveling to New York. I always felt that it was uncomfortable. It was cold. You know, a Southern girl, it was just a big difference.
Yeah.
And I happened to find myself in Chelsea just walking one day. And I said, wow, if I could spend more time here, I think I would enjoy New York more. Next thing I know, Rock Nation office moved to Chelsea, and I'm director of A&R at the time.
That's what I'm talking about right
So, and I never knew, like a young black girl from Decatur, Georgia, 15 minutes outside of Atlanta would even do that. So just indirectly, I totally feel you. Like those full circle moments really define who we are and who we grow to be. And you've grown into such a business, man. And I know that, this Rock Nation deal that you did that took so long, but now it's here. I know it feels much sweeter to you because you know your worth.
Was you there when they was first trying to sign me?
I would hear a couple things, but I'm still, under contractual, so I won't give too much. But yeah, I definitely, I was privy to a couple conversations. I'm like, man, come on, get Fergie in here. Like, come on, man, like I think he's cool. Come on.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool time, and during that time, I indirectly, was under Jay Brown's tutelage, and he's just a really, really, really cool guy. And I learned a lot about publishing from him, a lot about business building. And now that you get to work with him more closely, what is that like for you?
Jay Brown always been my big bro. Even before I was signed to Rock Nation, he'll come to my hotel, we'll have lunch, and we'll just talk. We'll talk about like buildings and real estate. He's
that guy. You can talk to him about anything, and he will indirectly tell you how to grow it. Right. It doesn't matter what it is. If he knows, or if he heard, or if he knows a colleague, like he'll pour it into you. I love that about him.
Yeah, so with Jay Brown, like basically he'll come by, like, give me some knowledge on real estate. You need to do this, you need to do that. Don't buy all the jewelry, don't do this, don't do that. Giving me like some proper like tutelage, like you said. And I took to him with that. So whenever I needed him to talk to my lawyer about something, he willingly would do a 3-way, knowing that he's like running a whole empire of like sport athletes and musicians and all of this stuff. He took his time out to, work with me. It really showed how much love and passion he had towards my project and who I am. So, I thought it was the right thing to do.
No, I believe so. It looks good on you, and I wish you nothing but success on that
much.
Journey. I think that you're in a really good place to grow and to continue to grow the businesses that you've developed. So let's talk about Devoni for a second.
Okay.
When you decided to invest your first dollar in it, where were you in life? What was going on in your career? Just put me there. I love a good story.
Yeah.
If you remember what you were wearing, let me know that. Take me there.
Well, I was on designer mode. Like, when the designers come outside the show, like for like the last look, and they come in all black, and it's like, all right, hey, I'm very like easy on it. I'm going back out. That was who I am. Like, I didn't want, the cameras wasn't on me. It wasn't for me. I was creating it for the world. So I wasn't worried about getting fly, none of that. Like I was, still fly, I could get fly, but my mind was on creation. So like I'll have like the same, like I have a uniform, all black. I had like this Old Navy leather jacket that I caught for like $150, but it was fire.
Yeah.
It was an aviator jacket. And I just wore that joint. And I'll be like in a fashion district just trying to figure out like where I could get my stuff manufactured. And I remember 5001 Flavors did my first sample belt. And I thought they was gonna charge me an arm and a leg because Guy, he did all the Biggie stuff, all the Diddy stuff, all the Big Pun stuff. Like he's the one who did like all those custom outfits.
Super legend. Pioneer in the custom game.
Yeah. So like I went to him, but he wound up like just really being close to my family. And like I don't expect to get nothing like for free just because you knew who my family is.
Yeah.
So he was just like, nah, this is you. He blessed me with the belt. The belt was fire. The first belt was called the Stormtrooper. And it was like white, it had black piping, red inside. It was like a white patent leather weave in it. And I had made this belt buckle to go with it. And the leather wasn't the right leather. It was a very soft leather, and I needed like more of a vegetable tan, like sturdy leather.
Yeah, how did you navigate being disappointed in that moment? about that? Like, what did you do? How did you act?
It was a journey because every step I was super excited. Like, I'm like, yo, I get the vision off. Like, this is exactly what I drew. It's just that it don't feel like what I needed to feel like weight-wise and like durable. You know what I'm saying? So I graduated. Like, I got to where like I thought I needed to be. It's like when you first make your first million, it's like you get to that million and you're like, damn, like I got all of this stuff and I'm providing for my family. I need to make more money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I got. Like I had to keep going. So with that knowledge, well, first I went to my grandmother and that belt came out. Love my grandmother to death. And she know how to sew because she do all my uncle jeans. But with that leather, she was not doing it. that
she didn't give it.
Yo, it was too flimsy. So then boom. I went to Guy. He got it done. It was more proper. I was able to at least wear it and flex it a little bit.
Right.
But then I was like, nah, I need to really make this so I can be able to sell it and put it on people. So I start willing that. I start getting obsessed with the idea of creating this belt, perfect belt. So then I start like just hanging out like in the fashion district. And like I'll see like the man on like I call him the man, the belt man.
The belt man.
Yeah, he was like with a table. Shout out to the belt man.
You know who you are.
Whoever you was like with all of this like hard leather and like you was just cutting that stuff from scratch and making people belts out of scratch right then and there. Like shout out to you for giving me the plug on like where to go. He told me to go to these Jewish people. It's like an old couple. They was like 90 each. And he's like, yo, they throw out leather every Thursday at 8 o'clock when they close because the rats be biting holes in it.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That's another thing about New York. Y'all know y'all got some rats. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So then, boom, I wound up going. He told me about that, and then he told me about another place called Kaufman, which is a leather shoe shop. And I went to Kaufman in Lafayette, and I was able to buy leather scraps for $2. Meanwhile, like when you buy a whole skin, the skin can range from like $200 to like $1,000.
Right.
I could not afford that. I was in the $2 range. Like
stay in your life.
I had $60 in my pocket sneaking in industry parties. You know what I'm saying? With a good fit on.
That's hard. That's hard.
But I went to go get me a couple scraps, and then like I said, I only had like a few dollars, and I made my first couple belts with these Indian guys I met, Mike and Oosh, who I met from when I was just shopping around in Global Leathers. No, it was Impact Leathers. And I just asked people what they do. And it was this dude, I remember this white dude, he told me like, yeah, I work for Donna Karen, I'm going to get some belts made. Word? What type of belts? He was like, some leathers. I'm like, word? I'm like, where? He said, right next door. I'm like, word?
Wow.
He said, 7th floor, I'm like, there.
Gave you the drop. Then you
went up there, found a plug, and it's lit ever since then. Yeah, so after like I discovered that, like where to get the belts made, the next thing is to convince these dudes to actually believe in what I'm doing because they making Ralph Lauren belts, Donna Karan belts,
right?
All of these people belts. They making like they the top
high-end belts.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, yo, I came in there basically with $1 in a dream. It was more like $60 in a dream, and I was able to get like. I think they allowed me to get, I think it was like 2 samples made or something like that. And I sold those, and I told you I promised I'll come back and re-up, and I just kept doing that. And now it's a full circle moment because I'm this big rap superstar, and I kept it 100, and I came back to them after years to produce the relaunch of my belts, Devoni. So it's a super amazing story.
That is.
We're going to do the launch in London at A Machine.
Okay.
Yeah, and do a huge dinner. And like, come on, a launch in London is, I didn't even dream about that part.
No, that's top tier.
Right.
That's gonna go out very
well.
I love London. That's one of my favorite cities in the entire world.
Well, I could tell. Look at this, this bourgeois.
You Londoner, yes, bourgeoisie.
Yeah, the feng shui.
Chic feng shui.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really picked up a lot that I know that developing artists that do have an affinity for design and fashion can benefit from your story. Budgeting is very essential.
Yes.
Managing your relationships keeping your word.
Relationship is everything.
Everything. Finances, like how to save. Let's talk about that. So before you knew that you were who you were, or before you really understood the outline of your trajectory, because, day to day, we just don't know. We try, but we just don't know.
Right.
What steps do you feel are most missed by rappers that are aspiring today?
I read a lot. Like, I dropped out of college, and I was listening to Biggie, Ready to Die, thugging it on the train, 40 Below Timbs. And I'm like, damn, like, I'm down and out. I'm feeling like how he was feeling in the songs. Yeah. So, like, I just knew that I had to lift myself up. I knew that I was special. I had to just make my mom a believer and, like, everybody else that was around me. My mother is scared because I'm in Harlem. We had gunshots out the window. Shit is crazy. People selling drugs on the stoop. And, like, it's just everything is around me for me to slip and fall. Mm-hmm. I'm black already.
Right.
It's easy. All I got to do is trip, and that's it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes all you got to do is breathe. It's
yeah,
hard.
that's a fact. So she was just being a mom, a worried mom, but at the end of the day, I knew who I was and what I had to bring to the world. So I tried school about twice. I went to school for marketing management because I was thinking, like, if I'm going to own my own business, I want to know how to market it and da-da-da-da. So boom. The math was killing me, the remedial and all of that. I had the 3-hour math class.
I swear we're twins because Clark Atlanta killed me.
It was rocking me.
Math? I was like, why do I need to know?
I'm like, wow, like this? You mixing the letters with the numbers and all that. That's where they
lost me.
Yeah, I just need to count the money. That's it.
Exactly.
So boom.
Oh.
Dropped out of college. That was like the worst thing I could do because both of my parents graduated college.
Right, and I know they were not seeing it for you after.
Masters and bachelor's degrees and all of that. I'm like, yo, damn, like, but I'm like, that ain't me. That's not for me. It doesn't work like that for me. Like, I have a very nuanced way. I tried doing it my mom way and my stepdad way. Now it's time to try to do it like my dad way. Mm-hmm. My dad was an entrepreneur who, he came from down south, and he came and discovered himself to be this artist, graphic designer, and started off by painting T-shirts for drug dealers like Nicky Barnes and all of these people.
Right.
And then, like, started doing graphic arts and silkscreen for, like, the industry people. Like, so he made his way as an artist. Dapper Dan was his mentor. That's why our relationship is so good. But yeah, he got a store called Ferg Apparel, and then got other establishments, Heggy's, which was a restaurant, and a laundromat, and so on and so forth. Had a very successful run in business. So I was like, if he did it, I could do it, because whatever he's made of, I'm made of. So
right.
I come from him.
DNA.
Yeah, exactly. So I just I started linking with people that was more like-minded like me.
Okay.
Subconsciously, like, and then I met So, which is like my big brother, and like I could never I don't know how to thank him for the amount of knowledge he gave me as a young kid just trying to do something. He let me into his establishment. He had a store called Denim Library, where it was in Harlem, and it was the first store and black owner, young, with like Robin jeans, antique denim, True Religions, paper denim cloth, EVs.
Oh yeah, he had all of it.
Yeah, what's the monkey jeans?
Red monkey.
Yeah, red monkeys in a glass case. So I'm like, yo, like, and he getting the accounts with them. This is when Atrium and Soho, they only had like the accounts for that. This is when, like, back when Khalees, when Pharrell was like discovered Khalees working in the Atrium, like in Soho.
Long ago.
And this is Harlem. So him to have all of those accounts with those companies was huge.
Right.
So like when I found him, I was like, oh shit, he the dude. Like, and I never seen nobody do it on an upscale level. Like, to me, this is Virgil before Virgil. Like, I'm looking at him like he Virgil. Like, yo, you that man.
There, okay.
You so like, oh
picture.
Yeah, so boom. I'm like, yo, how do you do it? Like, I need a job. I just dropped out of school. And he's like, yo, you just gotta fly. Just go. Just do it. What you mean? Just hustle.
That's right.
Just do it. And I'm like, I did not understand that concept. Like, what do you mean? Like, what am I gonna tell my moms?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta wake up to her every day looking at my face like this. Like,
right. Disapprove.
Exactly.
Something about that look. It'll
so
take you.
What he did do for me was he gave me like a under the table kind of like situation where I get paid to work in the store, but I also could print my own T-shirts because I had a silkscreen machine left back from my dad. After my father passed away, he left these machines, like silkscreen machines. Mm-hmm. So he allowed me to bring the silkscreen machines into his basement. He had an embroidery machine. So we had like a little factory going on. Yeah. I'll print the store bags for free. Like I didn't have to pay rent to keep my machines in the store. I just printed the T-shirts and the bags, and we had a thing going. But I learned so much from him. I learned about The Secret, like the book. I learned about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I learned about like the 48 Laws of Power, all the Art of War, all of this stuff that I was just reading and filling my mind with just all of these things that equipped me with the awareness, the self-awareness, and just how to move and maneuver through like life. And I thank So for that. Shout out to you. And I just keep doing the same thing on a climb.
Right. No, that's a big gem, to fill your mind with what you need to navigate the world, no matter what you're doing, rather than getting caught up in what's actually happening.
Right.
I think that a lot of, our Gen Z favorites, they come up and they just get a little lost. Yeah. And we're lucky if we see them again after they catch that hit. And proper preparation prevents poor performance. Learn that at Clark Atlanta. And as long as your body...
Can you repeat that?
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Fire.
And I learned that at Clark Atlanta University, applied that at my beloved HBCU of Clark Atlanta University.
Shout out to you.
And that really, really separated me from a lot of people around me, because working in entertainment, it's turn up all the time. And you get lost in the sauce. Yeah. And then
you get lost in a party.
Yeah, you do.
And this is a game at the end of the day.
It's a game.
Like don't lose focus on this is a game, and whoever plays it the best, they reign supreme.
And you gotta have it up here, or you're never gonna win.
Oh yeah.
How you gonna win when you ain't right within?
Yeah. How you gonna win when you ain't right within?
Hill. Okay.
Yeah, supreme confidence. That's what I think peace is.
I agree.
Like once you gain supreme confidence, you walk with your head up. Like, you won with yourself. You're unshakable. But like, it'll be certain things that's gonna try to pierce through you. There's a lot of wars going on.
Right.
And you just gotta stay locked in and move forward and keep it light and easy. Yeah. Be around good energy. Be around people that's gonna fill your cup, and you're gonna be good.
Oh, for sure. And another thing I'll add for all of our younger listeners and viewers: don't get too caught up in the internet. Everything that people present is not the perfect package. It's not what you need to see. And it's just, you got to separate how you allow yourself to consume things. Yeah. Like you said, everything is a game. You have to look at it as entertainment. Yeah. You don't look at it and take it as something that's so real that you allow it to make you second guess or question where you are in life.
Yeah. I always, like I said, I went through that phase like around 30. It hit me.
We all kind of
sometimes. But then it made me thank God I went through that, because then it made me realize that people are only posting highlights in their life.
Exactly.
I mean, we edit our stuff. We like, oh, we don't like that. We're gonna make this black and white. Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Oh, I don't like the way that glare is on my face. Like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
But like, that's all of what we see at the end of all. We don't see like the blood, sweat, and the tears. They're not gonna show you that. So it's like, at the end of the day, you just worry about yourself and worry about how you moving forward, because your journey is different from that person's journey. What I did a lot of was, I take breaks from Instagram,
right?
And I dig back into books.
Yeah, I was
talking to my uncle about this. I said, kids, this generation has so much emotion, and they letting it out all over the internet, and it's going crazy, and it's oozing out in different ways, because it's certain parts of their brain they're not using.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's imbalance. So you have Google, right?
Right.
We going on Google, and we can search anything. We don't got to look in books no more. So it's not that part of our brain. We're not strengthening that part of our brain. We have all of the things that just pop up for us as a service. Now you could go get plastic surgery. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with plastic surgery. Don't get me wrong. We need to do what makes us feel right to do. But it's a part of if you get plastic surgery, doesn't mean you don't have to work out no more.
Exactly.
You still have to work out because it's the mental element that when you let off them endorphins, it makes you happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you could have like the nice and all of that, but still be depressed because you suppressing your vibe. And you got to let that out.
You are very enlightened. I will say, if no one has told you this, you are so enlightened.
Well, I drink green juice.
You do. Okay.
Now, I like this type of stuff because conversations like this is just when I was coming up and I watched people interviews, I don't want to just hear about the song and like the Maybachs you driving and I want to hear about what got you there.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all of those nuances of a person that makes their brand who they are and like what gives them the heart of a lion and that fight and that bite. So it's like I could give you all of the accolades, like, I'm double platinum hit. I just did this and I did that, 5 platinum, 500 billion
shows worldwide.
But what does that mean for a kid that's like nowhere near that and trying to get to that? Like you started from somewhere, so where did you start from? We not hollow people. Everybody has a story. The richest person child has a story. You know what I'm saying? That's why so many of them fall because they got to find themselves.
Right.
Like, you know.
They got big shoes to fill and there's a lot of unspoken pressure that comes with that.
Yeah, it's unspoken pressure because you're trying to follow behind your father or your mom and they like
seemingly
giants.
Yeah.
But like it's okay to be yourself and move that way. You don't have to follow in what they doing or be in their shadow because everybody want to ask you about your parent or whatever the case may be. Go do what you want to do.
Exactly. But that's what makes this a select conversation. Yeah. That's why we're here. We're not here to talk about the accolades. We want to know why you built it, how you built it, and when you bumped your head, how you pivoted. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bumping my head is the best thing I could do. And I've learned to do that I learned to embrace, well, my cousin introduced me to Buddhism.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I didn't expect you to say that.
Yeah, and Buddhism, people get it twisted. It's not like a religious belief or anything like that.
It's practice, from
it's
what I understand.
Practice. That's exactly. They call it the practice. Mm-hmm. And the symbol of Buddhism is the lotus flower. Right. Lotus flower is born. One of the beautifulest flowers is born on a bed of a swamp. You know what I'm saying? The dirtiest water. So what that symbolizes is adversity. And like they always talk about like, you know, the more you embrace the adversity, it's like, you know, you could kind of eat that. You turn into like the big Mario brother, like
you level up.
Exactly.
You got the flashing star.
Exactly. Like God is putting his weight on you, he testing you to see if you can hold it. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the gym and like Cliff, my trainer, he'll be like, yo, do these 40s. So boom, I do 40s, hold for 15 seconds. I hold it. I could do that. That's light. But it's rocking the biceps.
For sure.
Then you're going to throw the 50 on me. And I'm like, yo, come on, I can't do this. And he said, you can do it. He said, put it in your mind, you can do it because you can. I know you could do it. And now I do it. And now my mind know I can handle that much more pressure. Excellent. So it's about pushing forward and failing forward.
Right.
And like, I would have failed, but at least I know I could do 10, 50s, you know what I'm saying?
Indeed. Like my art teacher in elementary school, I take bits and pieces of people from every stage of my life. Mm-hmm. She would always say, it's not a mistake. You didn't mess up. It's a happy accident. Now turn it into something. And that's what I hear from that. Like
well,
that
Pharrell,
just made me remember that.
Pharrell told me there's no losses, there are only lessons. There's no such thing as a loss.
That's a big one too.
Yeah.
That's a big one too.
And what I've taught myself and just thinking is that there's a mountain, right? Some people skyrocket to the mountain, right? And then after you skyrocket to the mountain, you go all the way to the top. But on the mountain, you might see like somebody, like if you're walking up the mountain, you might see somebody that like they sharecropping, they making like growing plants and all of that. You might create a business with them. Mm-hmm. You see somebody fixing a car. Oh, you fix cars? I need you to build me a car so I could drive up this mountain a little bit. You might have a little dusty little thing you driving up the mountain with. Then you might run across that. Oh, that's a Ferrari. Boom. You know, boom. You figure that out. Got the Ferrari. Now you driving up the mountain with style.
Yeah.
But that person that went all the way up to the mountain in a rocket ship, he didn't go through no adversity to get there.
None.
So he doesn't even know how to handle that pressure when he gets there. That's why you got to be present to get the present.
Exactly. And losses happen at any and every stage. And if you don't know how to handle yourself, or if you don't have the tact to be able to just go back to the old you for a second, get it out the mud and build it back up from there, then what?
I could go broke today and get it back tomorrow. I swear to God I can.
Selling belts? Or what would you do? Like, if that happened,
I used to think about that all the time. I'd be like, yo, if I went broke, I used to think about this when I was broke. But like when I was getting money and I had like, when I thought it was money, like $4,000 or something like that, I was like, yo, if I was to lose all my money right now, I was like, I know how to get it back right now. I'm like, easily, like what I'm going to do. Like I will read, I think I read, it was one of Robert Greene's books where he said this person was painting these rocks and sold the rocks. Like it was painted rocks for $1. And you got rocks is free. Right. Paint is cheap. You paint the rocks. You can sell a rock. You can sell like a nice rock for like $3. Somebody will buy it. Put nice little quotes on it. You sell that for $3. Imagine you sell each rock for $1. 1,000,000 rocks for $1. That's $1 million.
Exactly.
Sell 1,000,000 pens for $1. That's $1 million. That's that easy to make $1 million.
You got to put the pedal to the metal. People get caught up in the dynamics of what you're doing to get the money, and they miss that lesson.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's true. So back to Pharrell. Let's talk about green juice.
Yep.
Before we get all the way into the meat and potatoes of that. Wait, are you vegan right now? Let me know.
No. I went vegan for 3 months. I went vegan for 3 months on tour, and it was the most horrible thing I did.
I've heard you speak on that. Like, will you just never go vegan again? Or what mind frame do you need to be in to say, okay, this is a vegan season for me? Like, what?
I would, but this is when I turned 30, right?
Okay.
And I was going super hard to reach this, like, unrealistic goal of myself.
Okay. You live and you learn. Once again, you do these extreme things sometimes.
It was realistic, but it was like the way I was climbing was unrealistic. It was, like, unhealthy.
Okay.
So I was like, I was just going hard. I'm like, yo, I got the biggest song out, Plain Jane. This joint is going crazy right now. I'm doing 150 people meet and greet after every show. My tour is like 2.5 months, and like I have a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
I don't have no assistant. I got all new people around me.
That sounds exhausting, by the way. Mentally, physically, spiritually.
I had to pay like $1 million in like a set that like designed that had these robot arms and shit. I'm doing 2 outfit changes a night, and then I was just mentally and physically drained because I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't eating the right way, like giving myself the proper nutrients.
Right.
Like I was like eating greens and stuff like that and stuff, but I wasn't really eating as much as I was supposed to. Because we think like, oh, we go vegan, we can eat just as much as
cabbage
like,
and
when we eat steak. Yeah, but like cause when I eat meat, you probably eat 2 times a day and you straight.
Yeah.
But like when you go vegan, you gotta have your snacks, you gotta do it 5 times. Like you gotta be on top of it. Your protein shakes, your whatever, right? Your supplements. Your vitamins, all of that shit. And I was not doing none of that. And I just broke down physically and mentally. Yeah, I had to come off tour and all of that. Like, just to really, like, I didn't, because I was on tour literally for 10 years of my life without a break.
Right.
And that
and
break,
then you just
like,
disrupted it to say your word with veganism.
What happened is your manager and everybody's going to tell you, yo, just one more tour. You're going to make $1 million on this tour. And you got to know how to turn it down because you need it for your mental and your physical.
Working with Pharrell, dream come true?
Oh, man. Like, just Pharrell and Chad Hugo, like, the Neptunes, period, is, they changed my life. I mean, they let me know that, you know, what I was doing wasn't weird. And not that I cared that it was weird or anything.
But the validation.
That's just the validation. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm seeing, like, a black and an Asian dude hanging out together. They dressed like they shop in the village and they riding BMX bikes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was doing, except I was shopping at Harlem. Like, and I was dressing like a Dominican drug dealer, like diesel jeans and like shit like that.
What?
But the Dominican drug dealers was dressing like the village kids.
Okay.
You know, but they was just wearing more Element and Vans and all of that. So, yeah, when I listened to the music, it was a soundtrack to my life. And it just made me go more into that direction. Like, I was in the lane already, but it like just solidified the lane of who I was and who I am.
Right.
So for me to like actually get in with P, it was amazing. He called me to work, so it's like when I got there, it was like we got some stuff done, but it wasn't really like hitting the way we wanted it to because the energy wasn't up to par. But like
energy
then
is everything.
He called me back.
Okay, good.
He called me back, and it was around my birthday time, so I woke up.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. I woke up to this call, and he like, yo, bro, I'm ready. He said, when can you come to LA?
I love that.
That's exactly what he said. When can you come to LA? So I was like, man, I come this weekend. So I came to LA on the weekend, and we did a few songs, and Green Juice was like one of them ones that just stuck. The reason why we called it Green Juice is because I had the green juice in the booth.
I was gonna ask you if it had a health entendre to it.
But really, like green juice and like juice bar culture is a Harlem thing. Like I don't know if it's like that in Brooklyn or Queens or anywhere else in the world.
I know nothing of New York, so feel free.
Oh yeah, we got to take a walk through Harlem. I got to show you like what we do in Harlem. We go to the juice bars. You'll see Dave V. So you'll see like Nigel Sylvester, my boy that ride bikes. He'll be like in front of the juice bar taking gong shots. Shout outs to Styles P, Juices for Life. And we'll like, people will be hanging out. Like that's a bridge where like the younger guys like myself and the OGs could connect because it's a disconnect that's happening. Right. But with them juice bars, like everybody connecting on like knowledge, health, it's a hub. That's exactly what it is, a hub. And that's what Green Juice is. So when he's like, yo, call it Green Juice, I'm like, damn, that's kind of weird for a rap song. And I'm like, you know what? That's a nuance. That's who I am. That's juice bar culture.
No, that's really cool. In the video, now that you're telling me that, it makes sense. Because like with the guy in the big jeans, like running down the street, and now I'm getting it now.
Right,
so I'm glad you connected that for me.
And then I did I did a juice bar activation with Rolling Loud with Juices for Life, Styles P. We did it in the Bronx. Mad kids was outside, swarmed the store. They came and brought some merch. We had made some specific, like, cool merch for the spot. And it was a beautiful thing. They was buying smoothies and green juices. And it was lit.
No, that's dope. That's dope. So we're going to pivot. Saving money, how hard was it for you throughout your entire career?
Oh, man,
or how easy?
For me to save money? I've gotten better with it, I think. You got to ask my mom that because my mother is like,
she knows.
She helps me with a lot of that stuff. She's like, but what I had to like really explain to my mom is like, my mother is not like a fashionista or none of that stuff. Mm-hmm. She dresses nice.
A lot of seamstresses aren't though, because my mom is too.
No, my mother's not a seamstress.
She just can't sew?
No, she's not into sewing.
Oh, that's her grandma. Sorry.
That's my grandmother.
My bad,
yeah. My mom, she worked in the hospital field for a lot of years. And,
got it.
Yeah, she's just like, very conservative. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm radical. Like I'm like I'm gonna do the craziest shit in my.
You're gonna disrupt.
I'm the black sheep. Yeah. So like. I had to explain to her, like, once I start making more money and elevating, it's like, I'm like, there's certain things that I wasn't able to do back then that I could do now. Like,
right.
So the money, like, when you see these numbers, like, when I'm going to spend, $5,000 on a jacket, you know what I'm saying, at Prada or something like that, that's kind of normal. I'm like, my rappers be going crazy. Like, I don't really be going that crazy.
Okay, it's modest and Prada, mom.
Yeah, like she's very modest, but I'm like, Ma, I could live a little bit. I'm not going too crazy. I don't got like 5 cars and all of that. I didn't even buy a car yet. I just got my license.
That's not weird for New Yorkers though.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, I got my learners when I was 15. But New Yorkers, y'all start driving at like 37 and stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know about y'all.
Like I wear I got like 5 of these hoodies and I'll wear this hoodie and like swag it out. That's how I think you get the fit off. Like you gotta keep letting people see it. It's like running a campaign. Like, exactly. Yeah, look at this shit. Like I can't wear it once. You gotta see this shit 5 times.
Yeah, no, clothing is politics for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I make a lot of stuff. So I'm very easy with my spending, and I've learned that if you make a partnership with those you really fuck with, like a Tiffany's,
okay,
or like a Bape, or like a Hennessy,
or a Revlon, or a BMX,
or a Redline, then you can get things for free. And then when you pop in, they send you Yeezys for free, and then they send you this for free, and they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So y'all gotta get popping.
Get popping and get free stuff.
Exactly.
Exactly. So For the rapper that is looking to turn their influence into partnerships or money or just transferring what clout they're getting on the internet to something that can give them more longevity in the game and more long-lasting brand partnerships, what would you say to them? How would you map out a career that's starting from the internet? Because, we 30, so it's different for us. Like, we had MySpace, we had Black Planet, we had other avenues, but you really had to be hot and known in the community. You had to be a champion in your backyard before you got booked in a different city. But now you can be hot on the internet and then from there go global. Right. So to the new style of, bubbling rappers and artists out there, how would you navigate, or if you were to say, okay, do this, and then this, how would you kind of ideate on how they can gain success?
Well, it's funny you ask that because I have a record label I'm starting.
All right, now get signed.
And it's called Sewer Sounds. It's called Sewer Sounds, and like I see like the fire burn different in each artist.
For sure.
And everybody has their own thing and everything that they need to work on. Like I noticed that like my tenacity and my fire burns like super bright. Like some people may call me the one, like, oh, he's the one, like, and it's true. Like when they call you the one, you're the one. And certain people, you have a gift that certain people can either tap into or they just can't at all. So I can't expect you to do what I do, but I just try to push them to their best ability. So I just meet people where they at. That's what I would tell, like, the kids, do your best you can do. And like if you have Instagram and all of that stuff and like you have some type of form of network with people. Like don't come to me and expect me to do everything. Like network with the ask questions until you get an answer.
That's smart.
So my whole thing is like, all right, I'm with Roc Nation. In my mind, Jay-Z, all of the numbers in his phone book. Jay Brown, all of the numbers in his phone book.
Real plugs and connections.
Desiree, all of the numbers in her phone book. Meek Mill, all of the numbers in his phone book, and partnerships and da-da-da-da. So this is how my brain compute. Like I'm like, oh shit, I got all of this stuff to work with because I can utilize, like, it's not like I'm not bringing nothing to the table.
Of course.
I'm bringing a very grand idea, and if you say no, it's a million gazillion people that could help me over here.
Indeed.
Yeah, like I sent Jay-Z an idea yesterday. Like, yo, check this out. It's like a trailer of something that like I'm putting together.
Okay.
Like, so it's and also not being afraid to share your ideas and knowing that just because like people may be like, got more money than you or like on another whatever.
They can't do you like you.
Exactly. But also you get to a point where it's like everybody needs everybody. Like I could be detached because I'm living in the suburbs in a house and da-da-da-da, but that's why I got a little brother and a little cousin that's still running the streets and all of that and, getting into stuff so they could come back with the stories and I could be like, oh, word, that's what's happening, da-da-da-da. And then I'm getting inspired and I'll pull up for a hot second and then see what's going on for myself and then boom, goes into the music. And that's how I navigate. So we all use each other, the highs and the lows. Like everybody is, the rich need the poor need the rich.
Right.
Literally.
That's true. You done drop so much knowledge. Like so much. Like I just feel it coming out of you. Like it's just sweating out of you.
Yeah, I just dropped a lot of
And did. And this has been a Select Conversation by UnitedMasters, hosted by Rachie Jackson. Thanks, Ally.